So is there a danger that Nvidia is going to completely forget about gamers? Look, they've had some like crazy earnings with AI. Data center went up like a tremendous amount. If you compare it just a few years ago, it wasn't really that big of a difference from gaming. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, AI is this like massive industry, and Nvidia is one of the most valuable companies in the entire world. Forget about your GPU or them being the company that just makes your 4080 or your 4060, 3060. They now control something that it seems like everybody wants. So I have two ideas on this. While obviously they're going to go after where the money is, and that's in data center. It's, billions and billions of dollars. Their quarterly revenue was like, $22 billion or something like that. So gaming is not going to compete with that in terms of just the raw output. That's going to be where Nvidia is going to focus most of its energy. But it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to forget about gamers. And now let's hear a word from our sponsor, VIP-CDKdeals.com, a Windows 10 Pro CD key. Add to cart, you put in code CC20. This will also work on Windows 11. You want to go into your settings in Windows, change and adjust your CD key, click activate, and now let's go back to the video. I mean, even today, look at this example. They released their Nvidia app, which is in beta, and it's going to combine the GeForce experience and their Nvidia control panel, and I guess you don't even have to log in. I haven't used it myself yet to be able to give you guys some feedback, but I am going to download it. I'm going to try it out, and GeForce experience is okay. I mean, after you log in, which is like, why do you have to log in to download drivers? It doesn't make any sense. But after you do that, you can check for updates, and it's pretty straightforward. So it's not really, that problematic. I think the logging in part actually is what probably kept a lot of users a little bit on the fray about it. But this new app, and I haven't used it yet, I guess it combines a lot of different elements. It's going to be an Nvidia app, and definitely, I hope it's good. And that's one example on the day that Nvidia has like some record profits. It pretty much, released something for gaming. Now, on the technical side, if they're, putting a lot of money into data center GPUs and into the software side, remember, Nvidia is a hardware and a software company. I think that means a lot of the stuff will trickle down to gaming. I think Jensen, the CEO, once even got mad at the very question if, Nvidia was forgetting about gamers. And he mentioned DLSS and how that's always been, pretty much at the forefront of everything that Nvidia did. So I think that's going to continue to be true, and I would hope this is going to be the optimistic perspective that since Nvidia has so much money and resources now, they have enough to be able to support a gaming division, even if it's not the most profitable. That means that all of the software tweaks that they're doing on the data center side, they could also have teams that, will be able to use some of that technology. They can share that technology, and that's going to be applied for gaming GPUs, and it's going to make gaming experiences a lot better. Something else that could go either way. You could say if Nvidia is making so much money with data center GPUs, their gaming GPUs may be more expensive. And that may be true in a certain sense. Nvidia wants to separate the gaming sector and be successful in that in and of its own. It doesn't matter if they're being really successful in data center, but it could also go the other way. If they're not really, necessarily needing to have a profit on all of these GPUs, they can do what they did with the Super refresh, keep some of the GPUs the same price as the last generation, and with something like the 4080 Super, they actually dropped it by $200 because they saw buyers really weren't interested in a 4080 at $1,200. $999 proved to be fairly decent because the GPU sold out in a lot of places. It's hard to get a 4080 Super, and maybe they didn't make that many, but people still are okay, it seems, if it's under $1,000 for what is basically a really high-end GPU. Obviously, you have the 4090, but that's almost twice the price, and in some places a little bit difficult to get now. And then, unless you need the more VRAM and things like that, it's a little bit overkill. The 4080 Super, even though the performance is very close to the original 4080, not much of a difference there. The big kicker here really is that sort of price drop from $1,200 to about $1,000. So Nvidia can definitely go in that direction. Keep the gaming GPUs not only full of AI technology as well as good hardware. It's going to need a lot of those tensor cores and everything to be able to do these AI type of magic tricks that it wants to do, but also try to keep the price fairly reasonable, because after all, the gaming market is not like the data center market. It's not like Microsoft is buying all these gaming GPUs and they have like an unlimited budget. It's individual gamers who have their own budget. Often they definitely want to be under $1,000. I mean, $500 used to be a lot for a GPU a few years ago. Now it seems like the minimum, if you want to start to get close to that mid-range, maybe 600 actually, if you consider the 4070 Super as sort of like right in the middle, because then you have a 4080 and the 4090 above it at almost 3 times the price, around $1,800. So that's, it's kind of, in the middle, and that's being pretty generous, I think. And obviously, then you have the older 4070, the 4060 Ti, everything else going down. And then obviously, you do have AMD, which I'm not too sure Nvidia is that concerned about AMD, either on the data center side or on the gaming side. They haven't really responded with any high-end options aside from the 7900 XTX. There hasn't been a refresh in those particular GPUs, and it did happen where the 7800 XT at $499 and below, it definitely put some pressure on the 4070 though. So there's definitely that. It's not like AMD hasn't mattered at all. The 7800 XT definitely put some downward pressure and made that 4070 price go down a bit more. And then obviously the 4070 Super helped put all of those other GPUs under it, to squash the price down. I guess you could go all the way up to the 4080 Super being $999. That therefore makes everything else go down in price. So that was definitely, it's not ideal. It's not the perfect situation, but it is a step in the positive direction for more manageable GPU prices. So at the end of the day, I don't think Nvidia is going to abandon the gamer market, and hopefully all their success in data centers means that we're going to get, better AI software and better implementations of it and good hardware, and the prices will stay reasonable. They have the resources to make that happen. If they don't do it, it's just because they maybe don't care. But I think deep down, Nvidia knows that even if it's small compared to AI and data centers, the gaming market has always been something in their DNA. I mean, Nvidia is synonymous with GPUs and gaming. That's really what people, knew them from all these years. Now it's obviously data center and all these, financial things that are happening with it. But before, it's still in their DNA. So hopefully they don't forget it. And let's see what happens with some of these new products that will come out during the next few years. All right, guys, remember to subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next video.